Hello and welcome to The Quest. This is your host Palak. Let's take a look at some of the important news happening around the world this week, starting with some international news. India-France ties strengthen further. Cooperation on nuclear reactors, missiles, and engines. On Wednesday, India and France agreed to enhance their cooperation in defense and nuclear energy. Both countries committed to jointly developing advanced nuclear reactors, purchasing engines for missiles and military equipments, and collaborating in third countries. This agreement was made during discussion between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron on flight from Paris to Marseille. The meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Macron focused on key issues such as nuclear energy, defense, artificial intelligence, startups, and Indo-Pacific cooperation. Both leaders empathized the importance of nuclear energy for energy security and a green future, agreeing to advance collaboration on the Jatipur project and the development of advanced modular reactors. In the defense sector, discussion included the deployment of INS Vagshiv, the indigenation of Scorpion submarines, and cooperation on missiles, helicopter, and jet engines. Modi invited the French military to witness a demonstration of India's Pinnacle rocket launcher, while India was included as an observer in the Eurodrone program. In the field of artificial intelligence, the two nations launched an AI roadmap focused on secure and reliable technology. To boost startups, 10 Indian startups were given space at France Station F Incubator, and discussion were held on the potential use of UPI in France. Furthermore, a partnership worth 13 million euros was announced to promote women's empowerment and financial inclusion. During the inauguration of the Indian consulate in Marseille, Modi paid tribute to the contribution of Indian soldiers in World War I and highlighted the deep connection between the city and freedom fighter Veer Savarkar. Overall, this meeting marked a significant step in elevating India-France relations to new heights in energy, defense, innovations, and global cooperation. While India advances nuclear cooperation with France, its climate commitments face a setback with a likely delay in updated climate action plan. India is expected to miss the deadline for submitting its updated climate action plan under the Paris Agreement. The plan, known as the Nationally Determined Contribution, was due by the end of 2024 but has been delayed due to policies and financial challenges. Officials say that more time is needed for discussions with industries and state governments. Experts, however, warn that this delay could slow India's progress in reducing carbon emissions and fighting climate change. India had pledged to cut its emission intensity by 45% by 2030 and reach net zero emissions by 2070. The country has made progress in expanding solar and wind energy but still depends heavily on coal, making it difficult to meet climate targets. Environmental groups are urging the government to speed up action. India plays a key role in global climate efforts, and any delay could weaken the fight against climate change, said a Greenpeace spokesperson. The government has assured that the updated plan will be submitted soon, but no new data has been announced. Experts stress the need for stronger policies and faster action to meet climate commitments. Now, shifting our focus from the global stage, let's take a look at what's happening closer to the home. RBI cuts repo rate to boost economy. The Reserve Bank of India (RBI) has reduced the repo rate by 0.25% to 6.25% in its latest monetary policy meeting. This decision aims to boost economic growth by making loans cheaper for businesses and individuals. The repo rate is the interest rate at which RBI lends money to commercial banks. When the repo rate is lowered, banks can borrow at a lower cost, lending to reduce interest rates on home loans, car loans, and businesses loans. This helps increase spending and investment in the economy. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das stated that the decision was taken to support economic recovery and control inflation. The central bank expects this move to encourage borrowing and improve market confidence. Experts believe that the lower interest rate will benefit home buyers and businesses, but depositors may get lower returns on savings. The stock market reacted positively to the announcement with major indices showing gains. The RBI also assured that it will closely monitor inflation and economic growth before making further changes in interest rates. Citizens are advised to check with their banks about loan interest and rate adjustments. The repo rate is expected to bring relief to borrowers and stimulate India's economic growth. That was all about the economic measures taken by the RBI. Now shifting our focus to something artistic and festive. Surajkund International Craft Mela begin in Faridabad. The famous Surajkund International Crafts Mela has started in Faridabad, Haryana, bringing together artistic and craftsmen from all over the world. This annual festival, held from February 1 to February 15, showcases traditional handicrafts, textile, and cultural performances. This year, the event features more than 1,000 artisans from India and over 20 countries, displaying handmade goods like pottery, wooden carvings, paintings, and jewelry. The theme state for this year is Rajasthan, known for its vibrant art and culture. Visitors can also enjoy delicious traditional food from different regions of India. The Mela is not just about shopping, but it also includes folk music, dance performances, puppet shows, and workshops where visitors can learn about various crafts. The fair aims to support artisans by providing them a platform to sell their products and keep traditional art form alive. The event, organized by Haryana Tourism, attracts thousands of visitors every year, including foreign tourists. Authorities have made special arrangements for safety and convenience, including online ticket booking. With its colorful atmosphere and rich heritage, the Surajkund Mela continues to be favorite destination for art and cultural lovers. Now, transitioning to a different issue. Recent Maoist encounter in Chhattisgarh. On February 9, 2025, a significant encounter occurred in the forest of Indravati, Chhattisgarh. Security forces acting on intelligence about a large gathering of Maoist rebels launched an operation in the area. The ensuing combat resulted in the death of at least 31 suspected Maoists and 2 police officers. 2 additional officers sustained injuries during the clash. Troops recovered arms and ammunition, including automatic rifles, from the site. The incident is the deadliest in 2025 and follows other significant clashes in the region. On January 23rd, in Gariband, 16 rebels were killed, and on January 31st in Bijapur, 8 rebels lost their life in similar. Maoist insurgents, also known as Naxalites, have been active in India since 1967. They advocate for jobs, land, and wealth redistribution for poor indigenous communities. Over the years, they have conducted numerous ambitious attacks on government establishments and weapon theft. Despite India's economic growth, regions like Chhattisgarh, rich in minerals, continue to face challenges of poverty and underdevelopment, contributing to the persistence of such insurgencies. The government has intensified the efforts to combat these insurgencies, aiming to restore peace and promote development in the affected areas. Operations like the recent one in Indravati are part of broader strategy to address the challenges proposed by the Maoist movement. Punjab CM Bhagwant Mann meets Kejriwal, says everything is fine in AAP. On Tuesday, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann dismissed Congress leader Pratap Singh Bajwa's claim that more than 30 AAP MLAs in Punjab were in contact with Congress after the Delhi Assembly elections loss. Mann called the statement false. BJP's Majinder Sirsa accused Kejriwal of wanting to become the Chief Minister of Punjab after the defeat in Delhi. After meeting AAP National Convener Arvind Kejriwal, Bhagwant Mann said, "Defection is Congress cultures, not AAP's. What Bajwa says doesn't matter. Everyone knows what he has done to his own party." Mann also assured that AAP's election promise to give rupees 1,000 every month to women would soon be fulfilled. He also confirmed a plan to give 50,000 rupees as an incentive to students who succeed in competitive exams. AAP's Rajya Sabha MP and Lok Sabha candidate Raghav Chadha described the meeting as a step towards a new Punjab. He stated that Kejriwal and Mann discussed increasing employment and taking developments to new heights in the state. Now, moving on to Telangana. Madiga leader requests Telangana government to improve SC classification. Manda Krishna, the founding president of the Madiga Reservation Porta Committee, has urged Telangana Chief Minister A. Revanath Reddy to improve the report related to classification of scheduled castes. He stated that all SC subcastes should be equally represented based on their population and socio-economic status. On February 4th, the Telangana government accepted 3 major recommendations from the Judicial Commission but rejected the recommendation exclude the creamy layer from the classification. He reminded that the government has proposed to allocate 1% reservation to 15 subcastes of Group 1, 9% to 18 subcastes of Group 2 and 5% to 26 subcastes of Group 3 from the 15% quota set for scheduled caste. Manda Krishna said that the Madiga subcaste, which constitutes 62% of the SC community, is the largest and has been treated unjustly. In contrast, the Malak community, which makes up 29% of the SC population and is developed in all areas, has been given more reservations. Chief Minister Revanath Reddy assured that the government is committed to ensuring fairness in the SC classification. He said that the government would take all necessary steps under the legal process to avoid any complications. The government has formed a cabinet committee and a judicial commission to discuss and review the classification issue. From the policy reforms in Telangana, let's shift our focus to the national economy. Finance Minister, economic recovery rapidly. India to remain the fastest growing country. On Tuesday, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman stated that India's economy, which had slowed slightly in the second quarter of this year, is now on a rapid path of recovery. She also emphasized that the 2025-26 Union Budget has been designed to address the challenges facing the country's economy. Responding during the discussion on the budget in the Lok Sabha, she explained that the budget presents several key measures aimed at maintaining stable growth rates and further accelerating the economy. She pointed out that over the past 3 years, India's economy has grown at an average rate of 8%, which is better compared to 3 years before 2024-25. She also clarifies that in the past 12 quarters, only twice did the growth rate fall below 5.4%, while in the rest of the time it remained above that threshold. Mrs. Sitharaman expressed confidence that the country's strong economic foundation, favorable policy environment, and ongoing reforms will continue to drive growth, ensuring that the finance minister also mentioned that the private final consumption expenditure is expected to grow by 7.3% in 2024-25, with demand from rural areas playing a significant role. Overall, PFCE is projected to account for 61.8% of nominal GDP, the highest level since 2002 and 3. Now, shifting gears from national affairs, let's dive into the world of sports. India shines at the 2025 Asian Winter Games. India made a strong impact at the 2025 Asian Winter Games, showing great improvements in winter sports. The event, held in Harbin, China from February 7th to 14th, featured top athletes from across Asia. India sent its largest ever delegation with over 40 athletes competing in skiing, snowboarding, figure skating, and ice hockey. The highlight of India's performance was Achal Thakur, who won a historic silver medal in alpine skiing. This is India's best ever finish in the sports at the Games. In snowboarding, Muhammad Arif Khan, India's Olympian, impressed with a top 5 finish. The Indian ice hockey team also showed progress, winning 2 matches in the group stage before exiting in the quarterfinals. India's Winter Sports Federation praised the athletes, calling it breakthrough moment. Experts believe that with the better training and facilities, India can become a strong contender in future Winter Games. The Asian Winter Games ended with a grand closing ceremony celebrating sportsmanship and unity. India's athletes returned home with pride and inspiring a new generation to take up winter sports. From snowy trims to cricketing dominance, India shines as Shubman Gill's century seals a series sweep against England. India's stunning victory, Shubman Gill's century, leads India to a 142-run win over England. In the third and final ODI played on Wednesday at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, India defeated England by 142 runs, clinching the 3-match series. India set a target of 356 runs for England, with Shubman Gill leading the charge. Gill scored 112 runs over 102 balls, hitting 3 sixes and 14 fours. He shared a 116-run partnership for second wicket with Virat Kohli, who scored 52 runs, and a 104-run partnership for the third wicket with Shreyas Iyer, who contributed 78 runs. However, England's entire team was dismissed for 214 runs in 32.2 overs. India's Arshdeep Singh, Akshar Patel, Harshit Rana, and Hardik Pandya each took 2 wickets, delivering excellent bowling performances. England's Atkinson and Tom Benton scored 38 runs each. Leg spinner Adil Rashid was the most successful bowler for England, taking 4 wickets for 64 runs, while fast bowler Mark Wood took 2 wickets for 45 runs. With this, we conclude today's video. I hope you found it informative. We will meet again in the next video. Thank you.